Yesterday, my WhatsApp literally exploded with messages from my soon-to-be ex-wife Lauren. 39 desperate texts about how sorry she is and how she'd do anything to fix this. Her sister Selena called 20-plus times between sobbing voicemails begging me not to ruin their lives over just a joke. A joke about hoping I'd die in a car crash? Yeah, real fucking hilarious. I guess I should back up. Lauren and I have been married 8 years. We met at this crappy highway diner off I-80 where she waitressed while I was on the road for work. I sell industrial equipment across 3 states, so I'm on the road a lot. We'd flirt whenever my route took me through, and eventually I asked her out. 2 years later, we got married. The last few years have been rocky. Lauren always complained about me being gone so much, but the money was good and she seemed to enjoy the lifestyle. We bought a nice house in the suburbs. She joined this fancy gym with personal trainers and shit. I thought we were doing okay despite the distance. So 3 weeks ago was Lauren's 35th birthday. I was supposed to be in Minnesota for a big client meeting, but I surprised her by finishing early and driving back through this insane blizzard. Like I'm talking near zero visibility, black ice everywhere, trucks and ditches, taking my life in my hands kind of weather. But I wanted to surprise her with this fancy cake from her favorite bakery across town. I even had a diamond necklace wrapped up in the truck. I get home around 7 p.m., park a block away so she doesn't hear my truck, and sneak up to the house. The lights are on, music playing. I have my key but decide to knock for the surprise effect. No answer. Knock again. Nothing. I can hear voices inside though, so I use my key and walk in. That's when I hear Lauren in the kitchen with Selena. They didn't hear me over the music. Lauren is saying she prays my truck flips on the bridge coming home someday. The life insurance would set her free. Her exact fucking words. Selena laughs and says something about Lauren finally getting that beach house she wants and moving in with Tony from the gym. Lauren giggles and says this guy Jake will take her to Bali once the pathetic loser is gone. They're clinking wine glasses and laughing about my death, while I'm standing there with melting cake and a diamond necklace I can't afford. I honestly don't know how I kept it together. Something in me just switched off. I walked into the kitchen smiling like nothing was wrong, said surprise, "Happy birthday." The looks on their faces, holy shit, Lauren went white. Selena started stammering about how they were just joking around. I just acted normal. Put the cake down, told them I drove through the storm to surprise her. Lauren recovered quick, hugging me, acting all excited. I played along, even sat through an awkward dinner with them. Selena kept shooting Lauren these panicked looks. I just smiled and asked about their day. That night I lay next to my wife pretending to sleep while my brain went nuclear. Who the fuck is Tony? Or Jake? How long has this been going on? And most importantly, was she actually planning to kill me or just fantasizing? The next day, Lauren was super affectionate, making breakfast, kissing me, saying how happy she was I made it home safe. The irony made me want to puke. I said I needed to catch up on work emails, but really I was going through her phone while she showered. Found text to Selena about Tony, apparently her personal trainer who she's been fucking for at least a year. And Jake is Tony's friend who owns some travel agency. There were messages about how, after everything is settled, they'd go to Bali. The messages stopped short of any actual murder plot, but there was talk about my life insurance policy and how Lauren won't have to worry about money after. I also discovered Lauren's been siphoning money from our joint account into a separate one I didn't know about, almost $40,000 over the last 2 years. My fucking money. For the whole weekend I just observed, watched Lauren lie to my face, saw her texting Selena about how close I'd come to hearing them. Lauren literally wrote, "Thank God he's so clueless," to her sister while sitting next to me on the couch. Monday morning I called in sick to work, waited for Lauren to leave for her spin class, probably fucking Tony, then packed essentials and important documents. I transferred half our joint account to my personal account that she doesn't have access to, took screenshots of all her texts, grabbed our marriage certificate, insurance policies, everything. That night when Lauren got home, I was making dinner like everything was normal, but I accidentally mentioned something Selena had said about Tony while they were talking in the kitchen. Something I couldn't have known unless I'd overheard their conversation. Lauren froze, started stammering, then tried to play it off. I kept pushing, just innocently asking questions about her gym, about Tony, about our life insurance policy. With each question she got more flustered, finally snapping and asking what exactly I heard. I told her everything. About driving through a fucking blizzard to surprise her only to hear her wishing me dead. About finding the secret account. About Tony and Jake and Bali. She lost it. First tried denying everything, then saying it was just girls talking shit when drunk. When that didn't work, she broke down crying, begging me to understand she didn't mean it, saying she loves me. When that didn't work, she switched to anger, saying if I wasn't gone all the time, she wouldn't need attention elsewhere. I just stayed completely calm, which freaked her out more. Told her I was staying at a hotel for a while and needed space to think. She panicked, grabbing my arm, crying that we could fix this. I removed her hand and walked out while she screamed at me. I checked into a hotel that night, turned off my phone because it was blowing up with calls from Lauren and Selena. The next morning, I met with a lawyer, started the process of documenting everything for divorce. Lauren still thinks there's a chance I'll forgive her. She has no idea what's coming. I've been building my case methodically, tracking every dollar she stole, documenting every lie. I've even hired a PI to get proof of her affair with Tony. Today, I'm going to the bank to completely separate our finances. Tomorrow, I'm meeting with our insurance agent to remove her as beneficiary. By the weekend, I'll have everything in place. She thinks I'm just taking time to process before coming home and forgiving her. She has no clue I'm about to destroy her entire world the way she planned to end mine. Part 2. Coming when things really start hitting the fan. Trust me, this is just the beginning. Update 1. The responses to my first post blew up my inbox. Thanks for all the support and advice. A lot's happened in the week since I posted, so buckle the fuck up. After I moved to the hotel, Lauren went through all the classic stages of someone who got caught being absolute trash. First day was non-stop crying and begging. Second day was anger and blame. Apparently it's my fault she wished me dead because I'm never home and emotionally unavailable. Third day was bargaining. She'd go to therapy, cut off Selena, who was the bad influence, blah, blah, blah. By day 4, she started showing up places. And I mean everywhere. She waited outside my hotel until security made her leave. She showed up at a client meeting I had. How TF did she even know where I was? She kept sending these long rambling texts about how I misunderstood what I heard, how they were just joking, how Tony is just a friend. Just a friend she's been fucking for a year, sure. So I decided to meet this friend. I joined her gym using a week trial pass, walked right up to the personal trainer's area and looked at the pictures on the wall until I found Tony. Ripped dude, fake tan, exactly the type you'd expect. I signed up for a session with him the next day. Should have seen his face when I walked in and introduced myself as Lauren's husband. Dude literally backed up into the weight rack. I stayed super casual, just said I wanted to talk man to man. He kept saying there was nothing going on, that Lauren just needed someone to talk to about her unhappy marriage. I pulled out my phone and showed him screenshots of their texts that I'd found on Lauren's phone. The color drained from his fake tanned face. That's when he started throwing Lauren under the bus fast. Told me she'd been telling everyone at the gym I was verbally abusive, that I controlled all her money. Ironic, given she stole $40K from me, and that she was scared of me. The best part? He admitted she'd talked about my life insurance. Said she'd joked about it multiple times. Not just that, once I overheard. Then he tried to claim he'd told her it wasn't funny. Sure, buddy. Meanwhile, I was working with my financial advisor to trace where all that money went. Turns out Lauren's been sending some to Selena, about $5,000, and the rest has been going to a separate account she opened. We also found charges for hotels on days I was out of town. Not the Ritz or anything, just cheap places close to our house. Like she couldn't even wait for me to leave town to fuck Tony at home. I also discovered Lauren maxed out a credit card in our joint name that I didn't even know existed. $26,000 in debt from shopping, restaurants, and, get this, a fucking tanning salon membership for Tony. I am not kidding. She was paying for her boyfriend's tanning while planning my death. The lawyer says this is all great for the divorce case. I've documented everything, the theft, the affair, the life insurance conversations. Lauren has no idea how much evidence I have against her. While I was building my case, Lauren started involving our families. Called my parents crying about how I abandoned her. My dad actually called me asking what was going on. When I told him what I'd overheard, he went silent for like 30 seconds, then just said, "Burn it all down, son." My mom wanted to drive over and confront Lauren herself. Had to talk her out of it. Then Lauren's parents got involved. They've always treated me like I wasn't good enough for their precious daughter. Her dad called ranting about how I was throwing away my marriage over a misunderstanding. I stayed calm and simply asked if he'd be cool with his wife joking about his death for insurance money. He hung up on me. The next day, I got an unexpected call from Lauren's mom. Apparently, Lauren had given her a sanitized version of events, but Selena cracked under pressure and told her everything. Lauren's mom was horrified, said she didn't raise her daughter to be this kind of person. For the first time in 8 years, she actually apologized to me and said she understood why I was leaving. Meanwhile, Lauren kept cycling between tactics. One day, she'd send lingerie pics saying she misses me. Next day, she'd threaten to tell everyone I was abusive. Tony already ratted her out on that lie. Then she'd send videos of herself crying. It was pathetic, and honestly just made me more determined. I decided to turn the financial screws tighter. I called all our credit card companies and removed her as an authorized user on my personal cards, canceled our joint cards, called the utilities and had them switch to her name only. She wants the house? She can pay for it. I also contacted our car insurance and removed her from my policy. We each have our own car, but I've been paying both policies. Her premium is due next week. Gonna be a fun surprise when she finds out she's not covered. Oh, and I moved all my direct deposits to my new personal account. Lauren hasn't worked in 3 years. She quit her job to focus on fitness, aka fuck her trainer. Our mortgage, utilities, everything was paid from my income. Now she's got no access. Selena tried to play peacemaker, calling me saying Lauren made a mistake and deserves another chance. I reminded her that she was laughing about my potential death and planning beach house shopping with my insurance money. She started crying, saying she was just going along with Lauren's dark humor. Yeah, hilarious. The best part came yesterday. Lauren texted that she was ready to forgive me for overreacting and I wanted to start fresh. I didn't respond. 2 hours later, she texts again saying she talked to our insurance agent trying to increase my life insurance. What the fuck? And discovered I'd removed her as beneficiary. She was livid, called me 10 times in a row, left voicemails screaming that I had no right to change our policy. Sorry, babe. Pretty sure I have every right not to financially reward someone plotting my death. Today was the coup de grace. I had my lawyer serve her with divorce papers at her favorite brunch spot where she was meeting Selena. Public place, lots of witnesses. The server said she started screaming, threw a mimosa at Selena, apparently blaming her for not fixing this, and had to be asked to leave the restaurant. But here's the best part. Along with the divorce papers was a complete documentation package, screenshots of her texts with Tony, bank records showing her theft, printouts of her credit card spending on her boyfriend, and a transcript I had made of the conversation I overheard about my life insurance. Her phone has been blowing up mine ever since. 39. WhatsApp messages in 3 hours. Voicemails, texts, emails. Selena called 20 times between sobbing voicemails about how I'm destroying their family. Tony apparently blocked Lauren's number after she showed up at his apartment screaming that he ruined her life, so that's where we stand. She's panicking as she realizes I'm not coming back. The money's gone, and the comfortable life she was so eager to end is over. I'm staying with a buddy now instead of the hotel. Changed my routine so she can't ambush me. Lawyer says with the evidence we have, she won't get much in the divorce. My state takes a very dim view of adultery and financial misconduct. Part 3 coming soon. Her family has gotten more involved in ways I never expected, and you won't believe what Tony did when he realized no payday was coming. This revenge train has no brakes. Update 2. Some of you called me cold-blooded for how methodically I'm handling this, but when someone literally toasts to your death while planning to spend your life insurance with her lover, forgive and forget isn't exactly on the menu. So it's been about 2 weeks since I had Lauren served with divorce papers at that brunch place. The fallout has been even more intense than I expected. Grab a drink, this is going to be a long one. Remember how I mentioned Lauren's mom actually took my side after finding out the truth? Well, her dad was still Team Lauren until 3 days ago. He kept texting me about working it out and marriage is about forgiveness and all that BS. Finally, I sent him the audio. Oh yeah, forgot to mention that in my last update. The day after I overheard Lauren and Selena, I bought a voice recorder app for my phone. Got Lauren to basically admit what she said by playing dumb and asking why she'd joke about my death. Recorded the whole conversation including her half-assed explanation about how she didn't mean it. Legal in my state BTW, only need one-party consent. So her dad goes radio silent for like 24 hours after getting that audio. Then he calls me at 7 a.m. sounding like he'd been up all night. Says he needs to talk to me in person. We meet at this diner near my buddy's place where I'm staying. The man looked like absolute hell, unshaven. Same clothes as yesterday. He sits down and just stares at his coffee for a solid minute before telling me he had no idea it was this bad. Apparently, Lauren's been draining her parents too. They second mortgaged their house 2 years ago to help with medical bills. After Lauren told them I had some condition I was too proud to tell anyone about. $40,000. There were no medical bills. Their retirement fund is basically gone. While we're sitting there, his phone keeps lighting up with texts from Lauren. He finally answers one and just says he's meeting with me. Within 20 minutes, Lauren storms into the diner, sees us, and starts causing a scene, screaming about how I'm turning everyone against her and how one stupid joke is destroying her life. Her dad just looked at her and asked about the $40,000. She froze, then tried saying it was for a surprise vacation for both of them and other bullshit. He wasn't buying it. Asked her straight up if she was planning on killing me. She started crying and ran out. The next day, Lauren and her dad showed up at my client meeting. I was in the middle of a presentation when they walked in. Everyone just stopped and stared. My client was confused as hell. Lauren was clearly expecting me to be embarrassed or cave from the pressure. But I just calmly introduced them as my soon-to-be ex-wife and father-in-law, who were just leaving. Her dad actually apologized to everyone and tried to pull Lauren out, but she refused to go. Started talking about how I was abandoning her and destroying her life over nothing. I just turned to my client and apologized for the interruption, then called building security. They had to physically escort her out while she screamed about how I'd regret this. That night, I got a call from Selena's husband, Mark. He and I were never close, just the usual family gathering small talk. Turns out, Selena finally told him everything after Lauren's public meltdown was all over their friend group's chats. He was pissed, not just at Lauren, but at Selena for going along with it. He wanted to know if what Lauren was saying about the death joke was true or if there was more to it. I sent him the screenshots and the audio. He texted back one word, fuck. The next morning, my buddy who I'm staying with tells me there's a woman sitting in a car outside his house. It's Selena. I go out to confront her, and she looks terrible. Puffy eyes, messy hair. She starts sobbing, saying Mark kicked her out after hearing the recordings. Apparently, he's talking divorce too, and told everyone in their circle what she did. She begged me to tell Mark it wasn't as bad as it sounded. I laughed in her face. Asked her if she remembered clinking glasses and celebrating my hypothetical death on a bridge. She tried saying she was just humoring Lauren, that she never thought Lauren was serious. I told her to leave before I called the cops. As she was driving away, she rolled down the window and yelled that Lauren had lost her membership at the gym after making a scene with Tony. Apparently, she showed up during his session with another client, screaming about how he ruined everything by talking to me. Management kicked her out and banned her. Speaking of Tony, he messaged me on Instagram of all places. Said Lauren had been telling people at the gym that I was abusive for years. That's why everyone there was so supportive of her escape plan. He claimed he never would have gotten involved if he'd known the truth. Yeah, right, buddy. You were fine with her stealing my money and planning my death as long as you thought I deserved it? Fuck off. The financial fallout for Lauren is getting real. My lawyer filed for an emergency hearing after we found evidence she was trying to empty our home of anything valuable. The judge granted a temporary order preventing her from selling or removing anything until the divorce is finalized. Lauren's car got repossessed yesterday. Remember how I mentioned I took her off my insurance? Well, turns out she never made the payment. She also had 3 unpaid parking tickets that doubled the fees. She's been driving illegally for 2 weeks and didn't even know it. The mortgage company called me about a missed payment. I explained the situation and they were surprisingly understanding. Told them Lauren was living there alone now and they should contact her. When they did, she apparently had a meltdown on the phone with them too. Lauren's boss called me. We met at company parties, asking what the hell was going on. Apparently Lauren's been missing work and showing up looking like she hasn't slept. When she does show up, she's been crying in the bathroom and snapping at coworkers. I gave him the short version. Married woman, caught planning husband's death for insurance money. He was shocked and said he needed to reconsider her position since clients were complaining. Today, I got an email from Lauren that was disturbing. She wrote that she was giving up and that I won. Said she had nothing left, no husband, possibly no job. Her family hates her. Selena's marriage is over because of her, and Tony won't even speak to her. She ended it with, I hope you're happy now that you've destroyed me. This is what you wanted. I didn't respond. Sent it straight to my lawyer instead. He said it's a common manipulation tactic and not to engage. An hour later, Lauren's mom called me in tears. Lauren showed up at their house drunk, got into a screaming match with her dad, and ended up pushing him when he tried to block her from taking their car. She fell and sprained her wrist. Now she's threatening to sue her own parents for her injury. Her mom asked if I could talk to Lauren and calm her down. I declined. The most satisfying part of all this? Those beach house brochures Lauren had been collecting, found them when I was getting my stuff from the house, have all been repossessed by reality. The life insurance policy she was counting on is now going to my parents. The luxury she thought she deserved is slipping through her fingers daily. My lawyer says with all the evidence we have, plus her increasingly erratic behavior, the divorce should be finalized within a few months with minimal asset division in her favor. I'll post a final update after the divorce is final. There's one last card I'm planning to play that will ensure Lauren, Selena, and Tony all understand exactly what happens when you bet on someone's death and lose. The sweet irony is that the revenge they're experiencing now is just them facing the natural consequences of their own actions. Update coming soon. And trust me, the final act is worth waiting for. Final update. Okay, here's the final update on the Lauren saga. A lot of you asked for this, so grab some popcorn because the last 3 months have been wild. First off, the divorce is finally official as of last week. My lawyer was right. With all the evidence we had, it went relatively quickly. Lauren fought it at first, but after her fourth lawyer, yeah, she went through four, explained she was just wasting money she didn't have, she finally signed. The financial settlement was even better than expected. The judge took one look at the evidence, the audio recording, bank statements showing her theft, the texts about my life insurance, and awarded me 70% of our assets. Lauren got almost nothing except her personal belongings and her car. Oh wait, that got repossessed LMAO. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me backtrack to where we left off. Remember that manipulative email Lauren sent saying I'd destroyed her? 2 days after that, at like 3 a.m., she showed up at my buddy's place hammered, pounding on the door, screaming that we needed to talk. My buddy called the cops while I recorded everything from inside. When they showed up, she tried to claim she lived there and I was keeping her out. The cops weren't buying it, especially when she couldn't even tell them the address correctly. They ended up driving her home instead of arresting her, but the incident report was another nice addition to my divorce file. My buddy wasn't thrilled about the drama, though, so I started looking for my own place. The next week, I got a call from Lauren's boss. We'd met at company parties before. He wanted to give me a heads up that Lauren had been fired. Apparently, she'd been telling clients I was abusing her, using it as an excuse for her increasingly erratic behavior and missed deadlines. When one client reached out to me directly to express concern, the whole lie unraveled. Her boss gave her the option to resign, but she refused, so they fired her. 2 days later, I found out from Lauren's mom that Lauren had moved in with them. Surprise, surprise, she couldn't afford the mortgage payments. The bank started foreclosure proceedings, and she was freaking out about where to live. Her mom sounded exhausted, saying Lauren was making their lives hell, staying out all night, bringing random guys home, screaming at them for taking my side whenever they suggested she look for a job. Meanwhile, Selena's husband Mark filed for divorce. He contacted me to compare notes on our divorce strategies. We weren't exactly buddies, but there's nothing like having your wife celebrate your potential death to forge a weird bond with her sister's husband. He told me Selena was staying with some friend and had been bad-mouthing me to anyone who would listen, claiming I overreacted to a stupid joke and ruined multiple lives. About a month after my last update, I got a job offer that required relocating to another state. The timing couldn't have been better. Better pay, fresh start, and most importantly, physical distance from the Lauren drama. I accepted immediately. The day before I was supposed to leave town, Lauren ambushed me outside my storage unit where I was packing the last of my stuff. She looked terrible, had lost weight, dark circles under her eyes, hair a mess. She tried to block my car, saying we needed to talk about one last chance to fix this. I told her to move or I'd call the cops. She started crying, saying she'd lost everything because of me. Her house, her job, her sister's marriage, her reputation. Asked how I could be so cruel after 8 years together. I just laughed and reminded her she was literally toasting to my death with her sister and planning to spend my life insurance with her gym boyfriend. That's when she slapped me. Hard. I didn't react, just pulled out my phone and started recording. Told her she just added assault to her list of problems. She tried to grab my phone, scratched my arm in the process. I pushed her away. Not hard, just enough to create distance. And got in my car. She stood behind it so I couldn't back out. I called the cops right there while she screamed at me through the window. By the time they arrived, she'd worked herself into such a state that she could barely explain her side coherently. The cops took one look at my scratched arm, the video of her slapping me, and her blocking my car, and gave her a choice. Leave immediately or get arrested. She finally left, screaming that I'd regret this. I moved to the new state the next day, started my new job, found a nice apartment, and began rebuilding my life. The divorce proceedings continued remotely, which was a blessing. Didn't have to see Lauren's face at hearings. During this time, I found out through mutual friends that Tony had moved on to another client at the gym. Some wealthy divorcee. Lauren apparently kept trying to contact him. Even showed up at his apartment multiple times until he threatened a restraining order. Jake, the travel agent friend who was going to take Lauren to Bali, blocked her on everything after she drunkenly accused him of ruining her marriage in front of his new girlfriend. Now for the final card I mentioned in my last update. Remember that $40,000 Lauren stole from our joint account? During the divorce discovery, we found out she'd kept most of it in a separate account labeled Beach House Fund in her banking app. The court ordered her to return it as part of the settlement. Instead of just banking it, I had a better idea. I donated $35,000 to a foundation that helps survivors of domestic abuse get back on their feet after leaving their abusers. The foundation helps them find housing, jobs, and legal assistance. You know, the exact opposite of what Lauren was trying to do to me. The remaining $5,000 went to my parents as partial repayment for the wedding they helped fund 8 years ago. The best part? The donation was made in Lauren's name. The foundation sent her a thank you letter. I made sure they had her parents' address, with a certificate acknowledging her generous contribution to helping abuse survivors. The irony of someone who falsely claimed abuse actually helping real survivors? Chef's kiss. Lauren's mom texted me a photo of Lauren's face when she opened that letter. Apparently, she threw the mother of all tantrums, screaming that I had stolen her beach house money and given it away. Her parents finally had enough and gave her 30 days to find her own place. Last I heard, Lauren's working as a waitress again, right back where she started when I met her. Selena's divorce is proceeding and she had to move to a smaller town where rent is cheaper. Tony's still at the gym, probably looking for his next meal ticket. And me? I'm doing better than ever. The new job is going great. I'm dating again casually. I've been completely upfront with anyone I date about my experience. It's a pretty effective crazy person filter. My therapist says I'm handling everything in a healthy way, which I guess means my revenge was therapeutic LOL. Sometimes I think about how different things would be if I hadn't walked in at that exact moment and heard Lauren's true feelings. I'd still be driving through blizzards to surprise someone who was actively wishing for my death. Still working my ass off to fund a lifestyle for someone plotting to replace me. Still thinking I had a partner when I actually had a predator. So that's it. The Lauren chapter of my life is officially closed. The divorce is final, the money is settled, and I'm free. And the best revenge of all? I'm happier without her than I ever was with her. Thanks for all your support through this insane journey, Reddit. If there's one lesson here, it's to trust your gut when something feels off, and maybe invest in a good voice recorder app.